like, yeah, the flight's canceled.
Jessica Quiring loves to fly Flair Airlines. It's a cheaper way for the Calgary University student to get back home to Abbotsford. But when Quiring arrived for a recent departure from the Calgary airport, she found out her flight was canceled.
I went on over to the airline counter and I saw a bunch of other frustrated and confused looking passengers.
Jessica vented her frustration in a TikTok video that has about 1 million views.
But you can't rebook yet because we haven't sent out the cancellation email.
In the process of figuring out what to do, the young student says when she got in touch with a customer service rep, she was told that the next flight would be 2 days later.
I turned around after begging and saying, no, there's laws that outline that you have to rebook me on another flight, that I have to have another ticket. Once they refused to, I ended up paying out of pocket.
The flight was canceled because of crew unavailability, an issue that is within the airline's control. And guidelines need to be followed through the air passenger protection regulations.
The airline is required to rebook the passenger on its own or partner's flights within 9 hours of the original departure. If that is not possible, then on a flight of any carrier that departs within 48 hours, it has to be as soon as possible. So basically next available flight.
Jessica has since received a direct apology and reimbursement, but she says other passengers didn't, and she thinks that is the bigger problem.
There was a lack of representation at the airport, a lack of consistency across the messaging of how I got reimbursed for my ticket. There were some ladies that had to wait the 2 days. There was a guy from my university that got on the competitor's flight for free.
Flair Airlines sent a statement to City News in regard to Jessica's flight, saying in part, all passengers on this flight were offered a re-accommodation onto a Flair flight. However, anyone who did not find that suitable was able to request an alternate carrier booking through the contact center. Airline passengers' rights advocate Gabor Lukács wants to look at the overall problem of airlines not following air passenger protection regulations. He sees a lack of enforcement.
The Canadian Transportation Agency, the federal regulator, is the federal government whose job it would be to actually enforce passenger rights and to issue hefty fines to Flair for breaking the law. Over the past 2 years, Flair was issued a little over $100,000 in fines for breaking passenger rights, which is really a very small amount.
And as for Jessica, she will still fly Flair Airlines. Her next trip home is for Easter. She hopes that the flight will go as planned, since aside from her most recent trip, the flights have gone well. In Calgary, Danina Falkenberg, City News.